Hello, everyone, and welcome back to the 4040 Network. Shout out to Dejana, an indie artist, and her song "Christmas is on the Way." Christmas has here; it has passed. We are moving on to the new year. Thank you so much, love, for allowing us to use your song. You're going to be hearing more of that. I am your host, Grannee. She is, and this is our final show for 2024. We have
Mhm.
come to the end of the year.
We have
Woo!
come
Yay!
to the end. Okay, no, we can't get them. Hey guys, all right, and look, what up? It's me, Jay Hawk,
Mhm.
co-host with the most. Hey guys, and again, this is the final show of 2024. What a year it's been! I'm gonna kick
Right.
it over to my boy, the CEO of IMO Media Group.
Okay.
Hello, world. Mr. CEO, that's what my title say. CEO of I Am Woe Media Group. I am Woe. That's who the hell I am. Dwayne Sutton, if you don't know, host of I Am Woe podcast, and apparently part of the 4040 network. Appreciate y'all for having me.
That's right.
Um,
That's right.
but no, man, we're ready to get into it. I do want to go ahead and let everybody know who will be tuning in tonight. This is gonna probably be the final episode on Facebook. I think we're kind of fucking done with Facebook. If you know what I've been through dealing with these shows and Facebook, Lil Pete and Pete want to claim a song that they freestyle over and it's somebody else's beat. Now they want 80% of the revenue from our video.
Right.
I'm not going to keep playing with Facebook like this. YouTube is where it's at. So let's enjoy it, man. 2024. This is the wrap up.
Are
Right.
we officially saying fuck Zuck?
We've been saying that, but the platform is free, so we use it because most of the people we know it's with the exception of MySpace.
Mhm.
Facebook is now the OG social media site, and most people are comfortable with it, and it's where a large portion of the audience is at. Now, of course, we're moving over to YouTube, and so the lives will continue on YouTube, and then we'll also take that video and I could
Mhm.
drop it onto the 4040 Network Facebook group page as it continues to grow. And it's also going to be on BWNC Radio and Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Amazon,
Mhm.
iHeartRadio. We are wherever you listen to your podcast. So
Yeah,
the only
that's
thing
it,
that it'll
right.
be coming away from, and we're trying to move traffic to, is to YouTube, from away from Facebook Live.
Oh, that's Facebook's enemy. They at war
I don't
because
care. Listen,
that's Google,
at
and they're
least
afraid of
two,
Google.
three, at least 2 to 3 times a day for the last 2, 3 weeks,
Mm.
I have been having to battle, and I've been winning them, but battle just to keep our videos up because, like I said, little PL
Peons.
Peon wants to claim ownership of a song that ain't his. So
Hmm.
I would give y'all, for instance, my old sports show, the Underground Sports Kings.
Mm.
Hmm.
Before Dollar blessed us with some music, our intro was UTP's Nola Clap.
Hmm.
Okay. It was no voices on there, it was just straight instrumental. All right. So everybody knows this song. This is a nationwide hit.
Mhm.
Cool. Somebody somewhere back in 2 years after the song release did a freestyle over it and put it out on the streaming platform.
I tried to claim it.
And then they try to claim that it's theirs. So when the beat plays, they say, "Well, that's ours." Such and such as manager says, "That's ours." We so now you're gonna do revenue sharing for your videos, and you'll get 20%. Sir, that ain't even your song.
Right.
So yeah, Facebook does have a button on there where you can choose. It's a thing on there where you can claim fair use, and so
Hmm.
I've been stinging them. Last time I checked, this song belonged to UTP. No clap. You took their beat and freestyled over it. So if you was able to use it, get yourself out there, I can't use it
Right.
for my. That's called fair
Mhm.
use. And I've been
Fair
winning every
use.
last one, but I'm tired of fighting.
Oh yeah, if it's for Facebook and Instagram together, because they're both
Hmm.
aren't owned by the same company. Same thing. I've had several things go viral on Instagram, several things, and when it comes to monetizing, every time Instagram, Facebook will hit me with "you're being demonetized for," it's like the silliest of things, and then you end up having to appeal freaking 20 times until either they're gonna approve it or they're not gonna let you appeal it anymore. It's like, that's crazy. I'm not showing my body, I'm not doing anything derogatory, but as soon as a video hit 1 million views and 500,000 likes, it's like, okay, you're gonna demonetize it because of this technical error here. Like, are you serious? So I get it. And
I
then
ain't got
YouTube
time.
monetizations are different. It's pretty cut and dry with what you can
Mhm.
use, how much of a song you can use, and not be hit with copyright, which I think is like 15 to 20 seconds. So it just depends on which platform you're on. So please support us
Mhm.
on YouTube. Definitely support us on Spotify, iHeartRadio, podcast, Apple. I have
Yep.
got to give a shout out to my Apple podcast listeners. Check my
iOS, baby.
stats. iOS, my Apple podcast listeners, thank you so much. God bless you. They are killing the game when it comes to listening to the
That's right.
4040 network. Apple phone got it. They have been really rocking with it, followed by Spotify, of course.
Mm-hmm.
iHeartRadio is
Mm-hmm.
third. And then Amazon podcast is like next. So thank you all. It's a bunch of different ones out there. So it's wherever you
Mm-hmm.
listen to it. But I was just really blown away with my end of year wrap for Spotify because Apple Podcast takes the #1 spot for listeners for us.
Apple coming through, coming
Apple
through.
coming,
What's up?
baby. So listen, y'all, if y'all didn't catch last week's show, please go back to I Am World Media Group and catch the live
Mm-hmm.
on YouTube. You can go to any streaming platform and catch it. Last week we were talking about, are men polyamorous by nature? And we came up with 2 schools of thought.
Mm-hmm.
Technically, at the end of the day, I think we're like the animals in nature. We are mammals, and I don't think we were meant to be in monogamous relationships. But because of religion, we have been forced into the box, especially in America. In North America, and specifically, we have been forced into the box of monogamy. And because we have been domesticated that way since childhood, that is the type of relationship most people choose. Now it's changing a lot now in today's society, but these are the people we can't stomach. If you are in a relationship, a polyamorous relationship, and y'all have that agreement, we understand. Do your thing. But if you're in a monogamous relationship and you're cheating, that is deception on an entirely
Mm-hmm.
different level. You owe your partner, your significant other that you have promised
Fidelity.
loyalty and faithfulness to, you owe them what you have promised them, which is monogamy. And if you cannot stick to that, you owe them that conversation. Stop being deceptive. And I think like that was my whole thing on the last show for the men who reach out in DMs to other women. It's not the men who are in open relationships where their partner is understanding. Because in those relationships, the partner is going to be in the DM with the husband. They're going to
Mm-hmm.
let you know up front what it is and what it's not. I
Mm-hmm.
know because I have several different friends who are couples who have different dynamics of their relationship.
Mm-hmm.
So, but for the ones who are out here deceiving their partners, and this goes for women too, because y'all know women be creeping in men's DMs and they married, and then
They
it's
do.
men who be creeping in
Mm-hmm.
They
women's
do.
DM and they're married.
Mm-hmm.
You know, so that's the what we can't stomach. And karma is coming for y'all's asses, okay? And I'm just saying this from a place of personal experience. I have been unfaithful. That shit does come around back to you. And all you can do is just take that L. Okay?
Take that
Especially
And
if
ass
you're not
whooping.
going to be honest. Now, me, I'm the kind of person where eventually I came on out and was like, hey, this is what it is. That's just always been in my nature from a child. I might tell you a joke. I ain't
I'll
gonna tell you
never
no
tell
lie.
you a lie.
I'm gonna tell you the truth, even if it means I'm gonna end up on the shit end of the stick.
But
That's the
and
I
you know
can't
what?
let
stupid.
that ride on
That's
me.
the part that I can respect all day long. Is just keep it a
Mm-hmm.
book with me.
Right.
I know, Sherry, you and I had a conversation earlier prior to, but one thing is no matter how you view polygamy, polyamory, and open relationships, anything like that, nothing is going to work, or monogamy. If none of it's going to work if you can't be honest with your partner.
Very true.
Now, there are certain points in a relationship where we can agree to have this and this and that, and then say, look, I don't want the fucking details. I
Mhm.
really don't. So you move how you move. Just when you move, when anything that's a major step, keep me in the loop. Because
Right.
I
Mm-hmm.
don't want to be surprised by anything. You know what I'm saying? Other
Mhm.
than that, cool. So like, folks, there is listen. I'm a very private individual.
Mm-hmm.
I am a very private individual, but I know when to speak up and tell my partner, hey, this is something you need to know. This
Right.
is how I'm feeling, or this is something that has happened, transpired, whatever. We got to get to the point where we can do that and be comfortable with that. No matter, like you said, even if we end up on the short end of the stick,
Mm-hmm.
it is what it is. Be honest. Let your partner make a decision for themselves whether or not how they want to move, how this is going to progress from here on out. If this is going to be the new norm for us, what this, it's a
Mm-hmm.
two-way street. Talk, communicate, but please don't get on your bullshit.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
it's about having your respect. It's trust and
Mm-hmm.
respect. And so, yeah, I get it. Yeah, 'cause I
Cool.
think we all have probably ended up on the shitty end of the stick before,
Yeah.
so it ain't cool. So I get it.
Not
I
at all. I
definitely
have
get
a
it.
another friend guy. I know he said to me a long time ago. We had this conversation about being in marriages and being, and loving your partner. And I remember him saying, I have discovered that men and women who love and respect their spouses will normally not cheat, specifically women. If women respect their spouse, they will be loyal to their spouse. He said, I've run into women who love their spouse, but that level of respect is not there. And so therefore they don't treat them um with that. It's like they treat them like their son more so than their husband. And so because of that, they step out on them and they're not faithful. It's not that they don't love that man, but it's like they don't I say so they see them as a little boy. That's basically what you're saying. They're seeing them as a little boy and they're not respecting them as a man, because I that's the only thing I could come up with that one. He was like, well, if you want to view it that way, he said, but I did notice that women who have a high level of respect for their spouse 9 times out of 10 will not cheat, but if
And
if
that's
that
where
respect is missing, they will.
I'm glad you mentioned that. See, we
Mm-hmm.
mentioned this on our more podcast some time back.
Mm-hmm.
Um, Men and women view love differently. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Love for a woman is emotional support, um, sometimes the physical contact, showing up, being supportive, things of that nature. Love for a man looks like respect. We can give a damn about what you say to us. Your actions matter. You know
Mm-hmm.
what I'm saying? How you move in this, like, and trust me, what you said does matter, but how you respect me matters more.
Mm-hmm.
Your tone, the way you address me, um, the way you carry yourself, even when I'm not around, that means the world. So when women ask questions like, well, he cheated 5, 6 times, I go off, I cheat one, now he all on the it's a whole new look, because what you said, once a woman cheat, now that she no longer respect.
That's it. Respect
Respect
is
was
gone.
broken. Now that fucked with it.
Mm-hmm.
It
Mm-hmm.
ain't just that he cheat. Now I can see with my own two eyes, you no longer respect me. Damn,
Right.
I really fucked up.
I think that hit me into the core too, because and people like,
Yeah,
well, what's the difference? You did it like you said, but hey, it's the respect. Men know she lost respect for me,
yeah.
and that hurt my pride more than anything else.
More than anything,
To
that
say,
hurt.
yeah,
That hurt. And
mm,
and and, and not only just that, is how much she shows to
yeah,
that other person. Because then
mm-hmm.
it's a double. You know what I'm saying? Like it hurt even worse.
It's a double
It's
whammy.
throwing
Man,
salt in the wound.
I'm telling you, we're like Lance and the best man in our mind. We can see. Oh, she did. I know she did that because she did that
That's
with
why they say
me.
stupid shit. Like when
Yeah.
they find out the woman cheated. What's the first thing he said? You sucked his
You
dick,
suck
did
his
you?
Right,
dick,
right,
did you?
right. Tell me you did. As
That's the
long as you
first
ain't do
thing.
that, I know. Because, like, subconsciously he's thinking, well, if she ain't do that thing, she still might have a little bit of, yeah, no, bro.
Because
Just don't even
Because
know.
if you give him all,
we want to believe, like, okay, you can have sex with somebody,
Mm-hmm.
but you know that little nasty bitch inside,
Right.
the one that I pull out from time to, the
did
one
she
that I
make an
come get,
appearance?
Yeah.
that nasty bitch. You showed him that nasty bitch. You let him meet that nasty. She belonged to me.
Right.
Like,
Excuse me, y'all.
He had
That
his
part.
way with her.
Man.
Busted wide open, just everything.
Yeah. Mm. Well, what's good for the
Well,
goose is
well,
good for
well.
the gander. Is that what the old people say?
Not well. See, that's also another thing too. Like you said, we have already established too that the men and women cheat for two different reasons.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and that's the thing. Like, so when a man does it, it wasn't necessarily. I promise you, and I've made
It's
this clear, and I
physical.
know some people don't buy it, but it's the truth.
Mm-hmm.
It's
When
physical.
that man went out and cheated, he really was not thinking about your ass.
It
His
was
brain
physical.
actually, matter of factly,
Shut off.
this shit didn't work. You don't think with your dick. Like if you really get out there and think, you don't think with your dick. You respond with your dick.
Mm-hmm.
So
It's a,
it
it's,
didn't click with him about you and how you feel in that moment.
carnal impulse takes
But
over.
for that woman,
Mm-hmm.
that's the whole reason she even cheated.
That is a conscious
She didn't go
act.
cheat because she wanted to cheat. Her
Mm-hmm.
cheat is always a lick back.
Pretty much from something.
Mhm.
It's
That's
always a
guaranteed.
lick back.
Mm-hmm.
And that's what kind of, to me, I wish women would wake up from that, because then that man still controls you.
Mm-hmm.
Because if he had done, you wouldn't be thinking about going to fuck whoever this guy, you wouldn't be moving that way. The only reason you moving that way is because you hurt.
Right.
Mhm.
So now you finna go out here and give the best parts of yourself to somebody who probably don't deserve it, but it's an easy fuck.
Right.
And so now you finna be a notch under their belt. And so
Mm-hmm.
now you finna go and make a mess in your life by telling your such and such that yes, I fucked this, and that,
Mm-hmm.
and we did this, and that. Cool.
And
Meanwhile,
then I
the other
kissed you
end of
afterwards.
that,
Then I kissed you. And then I kissed you. You didn't even know I kissed you.
Cuz got that notch under his belt and he moving on. You
Right.
really was just a
You go
piece
ahead
of
on.
ass to him.
Mm.
So I'm like, what did you really get out of this?
Hey,
Besides making your messy
Revenge.
situation messier.
what's that old saying? The best part of waking up is me up in them guts.
Oh,
So,
Lord. Oh my goodness. Somebody asked a question on Facebook earlier today, and honestly,
Mhm.
it was about how come people are not staying together and committed like our grandparents were. And I put a comment under that post, and I was like, a lot of times our grandmothers were trapped. They didn't have the means, the education, or the skills to be leaving granddaddy. And we romanticize our grandparents and our parents' relationships to the point where we turned a blind eye to the things we saw them go through together,
Mhm.
you know. And then we say, well, hell, they just had love for each other and they just stuck together no matter what. Circumstances were different, times were different. And if our grandmothers and great grandmothers had an option, some of them would have been gone.
Guess
They
what?
would have had the means, they would have been gone too.
Can I go deeper?
Yeah.
Go deeper.
We've talked about this a little before in
Yeah.
a different aspect, but religion was different.
Mhm.
Okay.
Mhm.
We tie marriage and being a Christian together, and or whatever your faith is, whatever. And so therefore divorce is not of God, and it's a quick way to get your ticket to hell punched.
Yeah.
And so
Excuse me, y'all.
because our grandparents, great grandparents were really sold into and bought into the form of Christianity as they viewed it, it became almost like I don't want to say a prison sentence, but like you really locked in. Like you ain't got no other choice to go nowhere else.
Right.
Like this is what you have to do. Okay. Like they got married for the right reasons. Did they stay married for the right reasons?
Probably not.
We don't really know. But now waking up, having experienced divorce for myself, and I know many of us who are tuned in tonight have experienced divorce for ourselves, or either are preparing to. You start to realize my religion ain't got shit to do with this marriage.
No, right.
My religion ain't. I'm not gonna hold myself hostage in this marriage because I'm afraid of going to hell. I am absolutely miserable.
I'm living in hell.
And verbally abused in ways I ain't never, like I heard things in my marriage, my previous life, from my significant other at that time. No person had ever spoken to me that way in my life. No one. I've always asked the question, what the fuck kind of marriage do I have if the person who hurt me the worst
Mm-hmm.
is the person that I dedicated the rest of my life to love?
That's a trap. It's
That's all day long.
you don't want to come home. You know, one symptom of it is when men stay at work an exuberant amount of time, but they don't have to. I mean, they try to escape having to bring their ass home.
Not only stay at work, but leave work and then go mow 10 yards and don't go home until you just
Mm-hmm.
absolutely got to. It's just too dark and too
Because
late.
the
You ain't
only other
got no
option
Mm-hmm.
choice.
besides that is to go start a whole nother family.
Right. That's the other option.
So they really be trying not to, like, like, I'm trying
Or
to hang in there, but unless I'm gonna
look,
end up in somebody else's
Oh
bed,
my
let me go
God.
find something else to do.
And I just saw a post about that. What the girl say, and this is about guys having dick discipline. And she was saying, listen, if some of you fellas, not all you fellas, some people
I
got their
want to
life
talk about
together.
that too. I really want to talk about that. Let's
Yeah,
go.
we're gonna have to probably put it in a different show because that's a lot. That's a lot to unpack on the dick
mm-hmm,
discipline. But she was like, you should have that because 9 times out of 10, you'll get in a relationship with someone, and before you vet who that woman is, you already done dove in. You probably got a child on the way with her and or two kids, and now you realize, oh, she a whole demon out here, and you have a
mm-hmm,
difficult decision to make as a man. You
mm-hmm.
want to leave for your mental stability, for
But
your
you don't want to leave
mental.
your
You got to
child
you
behind in
got to
that
get
crap.
out of there. But you can't leave your child because now she's gonna call you a deadbeat because you walked out on the kids. And you want to be there for the kids that you created with this woman, but you can no longer deal with her conniving behavior.
Mm-hmm.
So now you're in this situation. And
Absolutely
man,
right.
that breakdown that lady did, she didn't dress it up, this woman. She did not dress it up. Wayne is pointing to himself for the people who may be getting the audio version of this. He's pointing to himself.
Oh, that was me
She,
too in my
yeah,
last
You know what I'm
marriage.
saying?
That
I'm
was
not
me
gonna go
too.
into full-blooded
yeah.
details. Um,
This is
like
a
I said,
difficult
out of respect for
situation.
my child,
Mm-hmm.
Hmm.
simply for that. I know he's old enough to watch these, view these, and so that will forever remain a mystery publicly. I will not do that to him unless
Right.
he is ready to have that discussion. But privately, when he's ready, we'll talk.
Right.
But yeah, you have to, you get to a point though where as tough as that decision is, if it when it becomes life and death, then you have to decide as a parent, I am doing my child no good if I'm in the grave.
Right.
If I'm in the ground. So I have to make this tough decision,
Mm-hmm.
and we'll just have to. But it's unfortunate, man. It can, the domino effect
Hmm.
that comes from making that bad decision of being with this person. And it had nothing, and a lot of people want to believe it had nothing to do with my lack of discipline with my dick.
Right.
That part I will say. Ladies, stop speaking on what you really believe to be dick discipline.
Hmm.
Let me tell my son how he needs to be disciplined with his dick.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Hmm.
Let me tell my fellow man how he needs to be disciplined with his dick. The same way I would love to sit down with Nick Cannon and tell him,
Oh
sir,
God.
you making all these different households, these broken homes, because
Throw
these
Cam
children
Newton in there too. Throw
And they
Cam
don't
Newton's
have
ass in
no
there too.
discipline.
Cam
That's
Newton.
just those are
Some,
examples of not having discipline, right?
but also
They,
there's something broken within them. So, and there's something called a fatherhood hurt. So I'm not quite sure what how Nick Cannon grew up, but I do know that there are certain men out here that kind of with some training on this,
Mhm.
and that when fathers are either absent from their lives, right?
but Cam's
They
dad was
go
there.
through. Huh? Cam's dad was
Cam,
there.
Cam's
Now,
dad was there.
now was he there? Now, because he was there,
Cecil, Cecil
was he
been there every step of
present?
the way.
Was he present?
Cecil been there every step of the way.
Okay.
But it's something that Cam witnessed in his parents'
Mm-hmm.
marriage that I
Mm-hmm.
believe is the reason he doesn't want to. He avoids it. He's not gonna say it because now you
Mm-hmm.
got to air your folks out.
Yep.
But
So
uh,
something happened.
something definitely happened. You could
Mm-hmm.
see when they bring up the topic of marriage, he gets squeamish.
Yeah, it's something there for
Yeah,
sure.
Mm-hmm.
Now, I will say
Yep.
this is what I learned in hypnotherapy school, which is on pause right now, but I am still on my journey to become a hypnotherapist. So we learn our social cues and our social behaviors, how
Mm-hmm.
we act and behave in society from our primary caregiver. For most of us, that's a grandparent, that's a female figure,
Mm-hmm.
mom, grandmom. We learn our sexual behavior from our secondary caregiver, which is the father. And even if your father was not present in your life, you learn your sexual behavior from a near male relative. So when we talk about dick discipline or vagina discipline, we have subconsciously stored what we learned from these examples in our childhood. And we carry that
Correction.
into adulthood. And we wonder why we're starting to repeat patterns that we didn't know we had. Like for I'm going to use Cam Newton for an example. I don't know Cam Newton, you guys. So if this show blows up and y'all hear me talking about, listen, I'm just using him as an example. Wayne
Mm-hmm.
said his dad wasn't his life, correct? He grew up with a father in his
Mm-hmm.
life. So even if Cam Newton didn't consciously processed that he was learning sexual behaviors from the father, he was. And these are things that as a child we pick up without noticing that we pick up. It's like our parents say, do as I say and not as I do. And we see what they do, and that's the part the subconscious mind holds on to. We remember those behaviors even if we rode along with mom and dad somewhere and they were going to see a man about a dog, because that's what they used to tell us when we were little. Where we
Mm-hmm.
going, mommy? Where we
Mm-hmm.
going, daddy? Don't
You
worry
see the
about it.
turtle take some water?
We
You
yeah,
see the
that's
turtle
right.
take some water?
That's what they used to say, some old crazy shit like that. But our we hear what they said to us, but then we also see with our eyes what is transpiring, even if we don't understand it. Our subconscious mind register it, registers that. So when we become adults, we begin to repeat those same behaviors, not knowing why. So I don't know if Cam Newton got dad has outside kids or only has that one family or what the case
Mm-hmm.
may be, but I bet you his sexual behavior he learned it from his dad or whatever the father figure was in his life. Just
It
like Nick
is.
Cannon, I don't know nothing about Nick's past, so I can't really speak on that. I just
It.
know the man got a
I
bunch of
want to correct
kids.
one thing. I want to correct one thing.
Mm,
It is not always your father.
right, it could
Even as
be.
a even as a male, it's
Mm,
not always your father that you learn those habits. That's why, ladies, you got to learn how to get out the way and let your son be around male figures. Because if not, then guess whose sexual habits
Yeah,
and movements and actions he gonna start picking up. And I
that's
can
true.
say this firsthand because I've seen it firsthand.
Mm-hmm.
You
That's true.
children are like sponges and they
mm,
absorb
Mm-hmm.
everything around them. And if the only energy around them is feminine energy, the only energy around them is, or the sexual energy around them is the energy of their mother, the mannerisms are of their mother, guess what they're gonna grow up doing?
they're gonna
Mm-hmm.
act like that. That is their
Yep.
main
Their mother
example
and
of
sisters and
yeah.
aunts. And like if it's just predominantly women around them, this is
Mm-hmm.
all they know.
Mm-hmm.
And then you be the one to be sad when you get 30 plus, 40 plus. Oh, he's such a good looking man. I can't believe he turned out that way. Wasn't hard. It wasn't
You know
hard if
what?
you
And it's true, it's sexual behavior. This is
Mm-hmm.
sexual dynamics, and that is
Mm-hmm.
proven. That's psychology.
Yep.
That is
You know,
psychology.
let
So
me add to that right quick. So my son has he's the only boy, right? He has
mm,
6 sisters and he's the only boy, right? So it's funny you mentioned that because what I've noticed, he's 10 now. What I've noticed, and it's just peeping him, is that he does things like he'll wear my shoes because he's
mm,
trying to fit dad's shoes. Or if I come in, if I'm working or whatever, and I come in, and instead of him taking a nap in his bed, he goes to my side of the bed. He takes a nap on my side of the bed. Or he watches how I treat my wife,
right.
and he, it's not a sexual manner, but he, if even if she's coughing or whatever, the first thing is, "Mama, are you okay?
Right.
What can I get you?" And so the things I've heard from his teachers at school is he's so mannerable, right? He's such a good kid. Where did he get that from? I think I'm more intentional now as a father in my 50s than I was in my 20s, disseminating this. And you're so right, because some of the mistakes I probably made in my youth, I've seen some of my girls make them now, right? And now my son, it has a whole different experience because I'm a whole different person than I was when I was 20s and 30s in my 50s. So kudos, hat off to you, man, because that is actually factual.
hey
They
man,
they are. sponges, and they do
Ooh,
repeat what they see.
sorry about that. I had to step away. My cough got bad. I'm getting over a cold. Very good. But that's a perfect example of what we're talking about. Ooh. Ah, I'm gonna let y'all keep. I'm gonna go get some water, and I'll be right back. Sorry, y'all.
Okay. Okay. All right. Go ahead and get some water, Granny. I'm telling you. I'm telling you. It's So look here. Look here. Look here. My man. I think a lot of economic habits our kids pick up too.
Wait, say that one more time.
I think a lot of our economic habits our kids pick up too when it comes to
There's a
how we
lot of
build.
things our kids pick up on that I
Mhm.
don't think that we really pay attention to. But that's
Our,
where I try to challenge parents on that. Like your kids always watch.
yep.
Just because you think y'all in two separate rooms, like they in their room and I'm in my, that don't mean shit. Your kids are always watching. When y'all are
Mhm.
together, when you driving, when you around the house, whatever it is you're doing, your kids are picking up on your mannerisms. Here's
Mhm.
more proof of that. So there's a video circulating right now on social media. And it's a dad who went through his 9-year-old son's phone. Okay. Went through his 9-year-old son's phone. And in that phone, there is a voicemail from a little girl
Mhm.
cussing them out, and she doesn't realize it, but she actually she made a death threat.
Really?
Yeah, but she basically, you pick this motherfucking phone up right now. If you don't pick this phone up and answer me when I call you, I'm gonna take this gun. I'm gonna shoot you in your motherfucking head. You better answer this motherfucking phone. Like she is going in to the point. It's one thing to say I'm gonna shoot you. Then she again, I got it. You want to hear it? You want to hear it? And all you hear is click, click, click. Like she getting it ready. This is a 9-year-old girl.
That is crazy.
Wow.
Sorry, y'all. I
So
had a
guess
cough
what?
and fit.
The
That's crazy.
first thing that you have to know when you hear this is that 9-year-old child did not pick that up on her own.
Right.
Nope. Nope. Not at all. That was
Mm-mm.
taught. That
Yeah,
was
that's a
taught.
learned behavior. That's
Learned
crazy.
behavior.
And that goes
And
into
now you
adulthood,
wonder,
right? Yeah, go
school
ahead.
shootings happen, right?
Oh
When
Lord, let's talk about this for a minute. Oh, so school shootings, and I know this is a little bit. We're going to switch gears for a minute, but school shootings, which have I think we've had 24 this year, something like that, with several casualties, and then you have the one CEO to get shot, and all of a sudden Congress is
he
up in
got
arms, or
Luigi'd.
as they say, he got Luigi'd.
He got Luigi'd.
But you weren't concerned about any of the school children and all the school
Hmm.
shootings, and one CEO gets shot, and all of a sudden,
Oh my God. Oh
yeah,
my
now
God.
it's a
We have to
problem.
change the world.
Fuck
Yeah,
all
no,
that.
we're not
Listen,
doing that.
you do dirt, you get done dirty. That
Hmm.
man
That
was
part.
publicly executed because apparently he had been executing people
Hmm.
privately. You
Hmm.
know that there are people out there that need this help. This is why they've been paying into it with their insurance
Right.
weekly,
Hmm.
bi-weekly, monthly, however it comes out. They were paying in because when I need you to show up with my life on the line, you better motherfucking show up. And we as human beings had to sit
Mhm.
back and watched person after person die because y'all were paying people to actually say no.
Yeah, they were.
Mm.
They were paying
There was
people
a
to
woman who
deny
came
claims.
out recently at a hearing, a doctor, and
Mhm.
she admitted
Yep, she sure
we
did.
have to be held in check. And
Hmm.
I'm going to go ahead and start with myself because
Mhm.
I flat out know for a fact I denied people coverage that would have saved their lives,
And they died.
and they died
And she
because I
got
wanted to
promoted.
save my job some money.
And she
Mhm.
got promoted.
She was like, I would say every time I say no, I saved them like a $500,000. But then it would
Mhm.
be money that go in my pocket, and I would be living this lavish lifestyle, and they were reaping the benefits and everything for me saving money. But meanwhile, people were having to plan funerals and bury their family members.
Right.
Mm. See,
So now you all upset because this man, one man, was publicly assassinated. We don't know how many bodies he got on him.
Right, and we
You
are
know
not
what?
sharing no cheers for him. But while
Check
we
this
on
out.
this, go ahead. I was about to say I got
Let me throw something in there right quick. So the original plan for the ACA, a lot of people don't know what the ACA is Obamacare. Okay,
no, it's Affordable Care Act.
We
Come on,
look,
that's
Wayne. We
me
right.
and
got to get
Cheryl
this
All
know
right.
right.
because we
Yeah,
heard
yeah.
we heard
We
ACA. I
work
Grannee
for
said
the
the
about
same
it.
thing.
ACA, but people didn't know the ACA when they were voting. They knew Obamacare. That's why I used Obamacare.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah,
Okay.
the ACA, the original design for the ACA was supposed to have a public option in there by which insurance would be picked up by the government if you could not afford it through private means. What the insurance companies did was they lobbied through the Republicans, they lobbied and they got that weeded out before the ACA, right? The Affordable Care Act was actually enacted. That was the key portion of it. Without it, you didn't have as much. It's not as nearly as effective without having that public option. Imagine if we would have had a public option, whereas people who didn't want to pay for private medical insurance, that they went to the public option and they had a choice. How much money with these companies would have lost if people would have said, you know what, fuck it, I'm just going to a public option. That's why, the amount of greed and amount of record profits they've been making, which is why Brian was going in there to discuss the profits that they're making because of they were denying all those claims.
Mm-hmm.
It's what ended up getting him Luigi'd.
Mm-hmm. Well,
We live in a very I did speak on this once on my podcast too, how we are living in a desensitized America. Things don't affect us the way they used to. There used to be so much outrage for some of the shit that we've seen, but now because it's become so common,
mm-hmm.
like they spoke about one of the latest school shootings. There was a young girl who responded, and she said, "You all upset about the school shooting that these kids have been involved in. You show me the bills that you've been passing trying to get there's some kind of gun reform." She said, instead of actually working on getting gun reform, y'all have implemented classes to teach us what to do in case of a shooting.
Mm.
She said, instead of actually removing the problem, you just started getting us prepared for it.
Right.
Like it's a part of life now. Like they really are out here just teaching our children how to respond in case there's a school shooting because it's becoming more and more common. Don't act like you give a fuck. Like you can't pretend that shit. Your actions will always speak louder than words. If you were really as bothered by these school shootings, you'd find a way to lock these fucking guns up or put a tighter restriction on them. So they're just not as easy to get a hold to. You don't have a 9-year-old calling another 9-year-old threatening them over the phone. You don't have an 11-year-old shooting up a school, 15-year-old shooting up a church, or what's his name? The kid that killed somebody in the street and now he's being praised by MAGA. Rittenhouse,
Kyle Rittenhouse.
Yeah,
his parents got
he's
him.
A Republican hero. Oh, excuse me, a MAGA hero.
Mm-hmm.
Oh my goodness, that's crazy. I haven't even heard that story.
Oh yeah,
Kyle Rittenhouse. Yeah, he was. He got off. Right, he shot a few people.
While he was at a protest.
Mm-hmm.
He showed up to a protest with a gun.
He shot 2 or 3 people
with a machine gun. Now I ain't talking about like just a little 9mm.
It was an AR-15.
Yeah, he showed up with an assault rifle.
AR-15
to a protest that had nothing to do with him. And some people were moving along. He felt like he was being attacked, even though nobody was coming at him. And he flat out murdered someone in the streets. And they let him off.
How old is this young boy? How old is he?
Well, he's an adult now, but he was a
when it happened, I think he was like 16.
It was during the George Floyd. It was during the George Floyd protest.
And you're right, George Floyd. Yeah, I was going to say, there was so much going on back then. That's a whole nother discussion for another day. I do want to talk about this before we end up leaving off of here. We're talking about health insurance. For those of you who have jobs that offer you health insurance, please, please, please get yourselves a health savings account, HSA. So they
HSA.
are for some health insurance plans that your companies offer. This is part of that plan, depending on what type of plan you got. The health savings account, you can put money on it. Your company will usually drop a large sum on there when you first get the card to help offset the cost of medical expenses. Because let's be honest, some of the insurance offered through our companies are shit, unless of
Mhm.
course you go through the
Oh, they
Affordable
trash.
Care Act.
They
Huh?
trash.
Yeah, unless you go through the Affordable Care Act or something like that, or either they're too expensive. But if you can get your hands on a health savings account and put your own money in that, that is your money. And we got to start thinking about ways in which we can have money to pay for our own medical expenses. A
Mhm.
health savings account will help you get there. You can use it for over the counter stuff, such as your over the counter medications, diapers, female products. You can continue to save on it. And the good thing about a health savings account, if you don't have a 401k, believe it or not, they now have investment options on the health savings account that you can invest in
Interesting.
different companies. So start looking into things like that as we go into this new year. I want to
Mhm.
definitely be financially sound and have good financial health, spiritual health, physical health. But start with the HSA. And for those of us who need therapy, your companies offer, for the most part, most companies offer the Employee Assistance Program, the EAP. You can
EAP.
get free counseling services through that
Mhm.
program up
Not only for
from
you, but for the people
in your
under your
family.
insurance, so your
Mhm.
Yeah.
kids, spouse,
Mhm.
all
Hmm.
that. Yeah.
And people don't realize
Man,
you can use the EAP services the very first day of employment. Should you get a new job and they offer employee assistance program, take full advantage of that. They help you manage your finances. They help you with work life balance. They got therapy stuff. If you have grief
And I
stuff,
think
if
they
you're
give
going
you
through
like what is
divorce.
it? 10, I think some of them give you like 10 free sessions.
Well,
Like
now it's up anywhere from 3 to 6 months. Yeah, just depends
you can get
on
some
your
work
on your
done.
the
And
work done.
and to be honest with you, here's the importance of it, because you never know where you're gonna hit uh those moments in life where you
Mhm.
need
Yep.
to talk some
Yep.
things out. You might be wondering why your relationship with your kids is all of a sudden a little more strained, or your marriage might seem a little more strained because going through some things, and you don't realize what your triggers are.
right,
Mhm.
Why you all of a sudden are having troubles getting out the bed. Uh, the thought of spending money makes you spiral. Like
right.
Mhm. Or you
it,
spend too much money because
yeah.
it's
Mhm.
because you retail therapy sometimes is the issue. What are you trying
I'm
to
sorry,
spend
y'all.
money
Mhm.
on? So I had to throw that one in there.
But
No,
yeah,
you're
I
just
have a,
right.
take
But it will
advantage
help
of
with
it.
that. Hmm.
I do have a question though.
Yeah.
Um, all the years I spent in the classroom teaching and going through all of those, those first year, teachers come back for like a week or so before school starts to do all this and get all your make sure you redo your benefits and everything. Nobody has ever said that. What you're saying to us teachers, and teachers need therapy because
Yeah.
Oh Lord, wait a minute.
Absolutely.
Wait a minute.
what?
Teachers definitely need therapy because I'm gonna go ahead and
Ooh,
say it.
Mhm.
Y'all been going to bat for little Jimmy, swearing up and down little Jimmy ain't bad. Little Jimmy's a bad motherfucker. And he's bad because you done told him he ain't gotta listen to nobody if it ain't his parents.
Right.
Guess what? He spends 6 to 8 hours a day with this teacher.
Hmm.
mm-hmm.
That is 30 to 40 hours a week with someone other than you.
Right.
And you mean to
It's
tell me you didn't implement that into you? That he needs to listen to the teacher?
oh my
Guess who now
goodness.
is trying not to drink on the job?
Right.
And then have
Just
you seen these kids at school?
I know teachers who have put some tidings of good joy in their coffee mugs
Hmm.
On the clock.
on the clock
Absolutely.
because it mellows them out. I'm
I
gonna
ain't
give you
gonna lie
some.
to you. That's why I really didn't want not because certain states they started passing the rule where teachers could have guns in the classroom
Hmm.
See,
as
yeah,
supposedly as a form of protection.
Yeah.
I was
No.
like, if you know these
Uh,
kids, your kid gonna fucking get shot.
right.
well,
Because if
it's
you
not
make
even
me feel like my
it's
life
not
is in
even that.
danger, I ain't got no choice but to protect myself.
But you know what though? It's not even that. It's some of those teachers may not have the training. They put the weapon down somewhere, and some kid picks it up, right? Or oh, I'm gonna leave it in my I gotta leave it in my room, my drawer, or whatever. Some kid comes in there and breaks in. I've had my phones taken out of my classroom, and they were in a locked container inside my classroom because some students decided they want the phones, and they broke the lock and got it. So if they could get my phones out, you don't think they'll get a weapon?
Oh,
When you're
absolutely.
at an assembly somewhere. So that look,
That
I,
wasn't a good
I
idea anyway. That's not a good idea.
no,
Now I
that
can
was something that
understand them
was.
having security at
Hmm.
schools going forward and let that be a regular staple at schools because apparently the government is not going to do anything about school shootings. We
They're
Mm-mm,
already
not.
noticed they're not. So I
mm-mm.
think every school should be equipped with security guards.
I'm gonna
That
tell you
that's
one
also another thing I
school.
want to say too about the
Mhm.
people who commented on the 9-year-old child. They were saying if your child is 9 years old and you got them a phone, that might be the first problem. Sorry, sir. We live in an era where I don't want to send my child outside of this house without having some form of communication because
Right.
school shootings are now becoming way too common. And as a parent who's been in that, nothing makes your heart sink faster than not having a way to communicate with your child when an actual situation goes down. I
Yeah.
have gone through that. There was a school shooting at my child's at my daughter's school, and guess what? I give all the praise to the Lord, to the Most High that she had her phone on her because we could communicate when they block off certain areas and you
Hmm.
can't go the normal route to go pick your child up. I need to be able
Hmm.
to tell her, don't panic.
Right.
Get on the bus. If they're letting you load up, get on the bus. Or if they're not
Hmm.
letting you load up, then we're gonna find a way to meet up.
Right.
You stay on your phone, daddy will park somewhere and I'm coming. Because I don't give a damn about checking out of no office. I'm coming to get my baby.
Right.
There's a one
Yeah.
Okay.
school system in these. It could be others, but there's one school system that I know in the United States that have never had a school shooting, and they don't even carry weapons at that school. And even though I'm not a member, I'm gonna give praise to these people, and this is the Nation of Islam. You've never heard of a school shooting at any of their campuses, any of their schools, any throughout the United States. Never heard of it.
Well, school shootings elevated as the more guns became available and the
Mhm.
more common they were. Because if you think about when we grew up, how many times were you seeing school shoot shot up?
You heard about that in up, in the north. You grew up in the south.
I mean, there was one that went down
You
in
lean
Pearl,
on me and all that.
and I had a cousin. I had actually had a few cousins who went to the one in Pearl.
Oh
Um,
yeah, Luke Woodham.
Luke Woodham. Yeah, yeah, yeah,
Hmm.
yeah. But I mean, like that was how rare it was. You could mark those actually by when I say you said his name, we knew what year it happened because it was very
Hmm.
spaced out. Like it wasn't
Hmm.
common. Like and if you think about it back then, people wasn't shooting up like that. But we fought back then. We didn't pull
Luke
guns.
Luke Woodham was a disturbed serial killer.
Yeah,
He killed his mama first,
we
and then
can
he
go on all
killed.
that, but we ain't got time for
Yeah,
that
Yeah,
violence.
we don't. Yeah, I
yeah,
remember that though. Sorry
yeah,
about that, y'all. My
yeah.
I'm getting over a
He
cold and
was
it is really
disturbed.
kicking
He
my
was
butt.
disturbing.
You hang in
Very
there, man.
disturbed.
We hanging in there. So let us wrap it on up. Listen, today is December 29th, 2024. Tomorrow is my birthday, by the way. Thank you all so much. Yay.
Yay!
I will be the big 49. I'll be in my last year in my
49.
40s. A decade is coming to an
He
end.
almost
This
flirty
this
50.
almost
Almost
30,
flirty.
50, you know.
Flirty 50. Flirty 50.
Flirty 50,
Hmm.
almost. So I'm trying to be healthy at 50. So that's my whole journey for
50 and
2025
fine. Come on.
is to get my health in order. And listen, black people, a lot of us have diabetes that run in our family, congestive heart failure, um, high blood pressure, hypertension. I could go on and on and on with
Yeah.
all the
All those
different.
things run in our family, but we ain't running in our family.
We're not running it,
So
right? We're going to keep our health A1 because health is wealth at the end of the day. And I want to
mhm.
say this before we get off of here. And I was telling Wayne this earlier today. Tell someone that you know, that you care about, that you love them, that you love them. Express it with your mouth. Give them hugs.
Mhm.
Show them that you love them because tomorrow is not promised. We don't know what 2025 is going to look like, what challenges and what blessings it's going to bring our way. I'm looking forward to all the blessings.
My
But
my
tell someone that you
my
love
add
them.
on to
Tell
that.
them. Right,
My
go ahead.
add on to that is also, like I told you, I wanted to make sure everybody else knows. Not only do you tell them you love them and show them that you love them, let that hurt go. Yeah, that shit that you've been carrying since 1996, and you
Right.
probably don't even remember why you even mad at that person. Let
Mm-hmm.
that
Mhm.
shit go.
Let
That
it
is
go.
extra weight. That is extra burden that you do not need to be carrying. You wonder why you feeling so heavy? It's because you carrying around shit that should have been let go a long time ago.
Mm-hmm.
If we gonna
Absolutely.
move and elevate into the places that we need to be, around the people that we need to be, in the positions that we desire to
Mm-hmm.
be in, you can't bring your extra baggage with you.
Sure can.
Let
Don't.
that old hurt go. Let all that bullshit go. Stop being mad at everybody. Just forgive and move on. They ain't saying
Mm-hmm.
that you gotta forget. Learn from it. Please learn from it.
Mm-hmm.
But forgive and move on. Even if they don't ask you for forgiveness, you just,
Right.
I forgive you. Let that go. Move on. Go get your blessings.
That part.
Yep.
And
Yep.
you will realize, you will see a lot of the stress and anxiety that you carry. If you let stuff go, your health will improve. And I know that sounds crazy, but
No,
you
it's true.
impede on your nervous system. Your nervous system is connected directly to your brain, which is your psyche. And you're holding on to all this stuff, especially women. We hold on to stuff and we wonder why we can't lose weight, and why our knees hurt and our hips hurting. And we got all this stress and all this tension just built right up here in our pelvic area. Let some shit go. I guarantee you, you'll start to feel much better. Yeah, give your nervous systems a break. Let it go. Forgive and love. Because love is the ultimate frequency. I don't care what anybody say. If you don't have a purpose in life, that's your whole purpose. Love somebody. Love yourself. Love other people, and go about your life. Because I don't have a purpose. Yes, you do. Love yourself and love other
Mhm.
people. That's the whole of it.
Just
The
because you ain't
whole of
found
it.
it yet, don't mean that you don't have one. It may
Mhm.
not be time for you to find it, but your time is
Mhm.
coming. Just stay on your grind.
I
Stay on your
heard I
grind.
heard a
And
person say earlier today. She was like, sometimes your purpose is to be there for the people in your life, to show up for the people that are here for you right now in this moment. That can be your purpose. Instead of searching for and seeking for this grander thing, what if yours is to love?
yep.
Or what if it's for you to be here for your family? Because if you leave, then everybody's gonna be sad. So everybody got something. But if you have a grand one, great. Share it with us later on when you figure out what that is.
So in other words, you're saying that it's how we show up
It's how
for
we
our
show up.
families,
Right.
and we have to take care of ourselves to be able to show up for others.
Damn straight.
Mm-hmm.
So for 2025, we're going to challenge you to show up for you first,
Amen.
and
That's
then
it.
you're going to be able to then figure out how to show up for other people. So that includes what goals do you have for yourself in 2025 that you're going to accomplish,
Mm-hmm.
not just something you're going to put on a bored or whatever and say, hey, I'm gonna do this, and by March you've forgotten about it. What are you committing to doing for you first, then for people in your family next? Because if you can't put your own oxygen on to save you on a flight, right, then
Mm-hmm.
how are you going to save others?
Right.
So 2025 is about thriving, but it starts with you. What are you going to do to better you so that you can show up for people in your life?
Beautiful. I couldn't have worded it better. That's it. That's the whole of it. This is our last show. I don't think I have too much more to add. I was going to go into like trends for 2025, market trends. Just all I can say is listen, people,
Oh
save
yeah.
your money, save your duckies, eat out less, eat at home. Okay. Eat at home. A lot of closures coming for a lot of restaurants and businesses at the first quarter
Mm-hmm.
of 2025. You all can look
Mm-hmm.
for that. Some may surprise you. Some you can be like, yeah, I knew that was coming. For
Um,
sure. But definitely save your
especially if
duckies. Eat at home.
especially if those tariffs hit. So
Especially if those tariffs hit.
just be prepared, guys. I mean,
Mhm.
well, we had stats in here for you guys, but look, we will if you on the 4040 network Facebook group, if you're there, if you have any questions about this, hit us up. I'll
Mhm.
share some stats with you
Oh,
of
thank you.
what
Please.
those quarters are going to look like and what is predicted to look like quarter 1, 2, and 3 of 2025. And I'm telling you this: put your money aside, get bulletproof.
Right.
Make sure you have an emergency fund. Get bulletproof because winter is coming.
There you go.
Winter is coming.
But y'all out there just be on some, oh, we outside. We gonna live it up. It don't matter what it, whether we doing it, we gonna just do what we want. And let me go ahead and just be the first to tell you straight to your face.
That's the dumbest thing I've ever heard in my life. There's no wonder you get D's and everything.
Just want to make sure that you're clear, all right?
Right.
The warning signs are there, the red flags are there.
Right.
We're not saying
next 4
like
years,
hear our own voice. Like, prepare yourselves. Be smart with your money. If you don't have to spend it, don't
spend it. Like, that's what we are. So thank you all so much for joining. Like, if y'all want to send me some birthday gifts, it's gonna be hashtag Cheryl Nathaniel, and that's
one
on
time for the
Cash App.
birthday chick.
If
One
y'all want
time
to
for
give
the
me a little
birthday chick.
birthday love, because tomorrow is my birthday. Yes, indeed. I'm looking
One time for
forward
the
to it.
birthday chick.
So, like, y'all have a beautiful, wonderful New Year's. We will be back. I forget the date I had in my head, but it won't be the first week in January because we're gonna be reeling from the first week. But I'll let you all know it's probably gonna be the third week in January. But stay tuned. We'll be back live.
We'll send it out. We'll let y'all know. We'll let y'all know.
We might even have Dylan on. Let's see if we can get Dylan on.
Oh yeah, that'd be awesome. I would love to have Dylan style for our own. Let's do it.
Let's do it because she coming back too.
All right, yeah.
Dylan's coming back. All right.
We can make some cocktails and stuff. I'm ready. I got my recipes. I'm ready.
And you know, I stay ready on this side.
All right. Good night.
Boom.
Happy New
Good night.
Year.
Happy New Year.
Christmas.